Good morning. Good Saturday morning. Glad to have you with us. Perfectly blue skies this morning. A little crisp for an April morning, April the 6th here. I was checking the date.
April comes, she will. Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Will we go from 30 whatever this morning? You know, it's been pretty cool. 37 it says here. Will we see 85 in April? It's always a possibility, you know.
Sure.
But, I think the mountains, our local mountains, got some snow this week, something they didn't have a whole lot of through November, December, January, February, March. But here in April, look out. Getting a little snow, a little dusting, I think, maybe. There's some parts of the United States, northeast, for example, blizzard conditions. But let's see. It's saying here that we'll go, let's see, by the end of the range here, 76 degrees, 69 on this day, next week. Next Saturday, 69. It's a lot different from today. I think 64 today. So
I'll take 60s all day long.
Yeah, it's going to warm up. Plenty to talk about this morning. I think Lenny might be on his way in to talk some NCAA tournament with us, down to 2 teams in the women's Final Four and down to 4 as the men.
Rematch of last year's national semifinal.
Yep, in which Iowa won last year, right?
77-73.
Yep. They're not winning tomorrow.
No.
I don't see them winning tomorrow.
I don't see a way.
And that, they would have to have what kind of performance from Caitlin Clark
She'd have to be in the 40s.
Yeah, I think so too.
If she has another shooting night like last night, they lose double figures easy.
Last night's the first time I'd seen South Carolina play, and I did watch the majority of that game.
I didn't watch that one.
It was, they were. Second half especially. You know, if you just look at the first half, then I think
31.
I think that gives South Carolina, that gives Iowa some hope if you just look at the first half. But then again, you think if they're gonna play like that in the first half, NC State's problem was they weren't up 8 or 10.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that they played terribly bad, but they didn't play anything like that in the second half. They really poured it on in the second half, and they did it early. I think the third quarter was 29-6 or 8 or something like that. Oh, I got it right here in front of me. 29-6.
Yeah.
That's a statement.
It is.
That's a statement.
There's so much depth. They used to bring him in 6'4", 6'4".
6'7" to start with.
6'7"
She's a starter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a luxury to have, and she's not a 6'7" that can't play either.
I know.
You know, she can play.
She can even hit a 3 when forced.
Yeah.
The 3 that cost the Tennessee coach her job, probably, right? In the SEC tournament.
My thoughts last night in the second game, UConn and Iowa, it was a foul.
Yeah, that's my thought.
It was a foul. If there's a lot of controversy this morning going around about that call, but if that thing had been in the first half or early in the second half, you wouldn't have heard a word about it, because she clearly, reached out to make the screen happen on the defender.
She reached out just enough, I think. To create the foul.
And we always talk about how officials aren't even supposed to know how much time's on the clock. You just call the game the same.
But we're still living with that mentality that you don't make that call at that point in the game.
I even listened to ESPN a little bit afterwards, and they were saying, I don't know if I can say this on the air, but it sucked.
Yeah,
and then
Scott Van Pelt was
agreed with her.
He
said
really
it too.
Pushing that narrative. Yeah.
But you just, if the call can be made and not argued during the game, it can be made down the stretch as well. Brett, you hadn't commented. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
What'd you think?
I thought it would have been okay to call or okay not to call. Right. Either way. It was,
yeah. Right.
It wasn't like
if there wasn't a call,
blatant obvious foul.
If there wasn't a call and they scored, but with the same action, would we be talking about that today? Why didn't they call that illegal screen?
No,
Probably not as much.
no, but I bet Iowa's coach would have been talking about
Right,
it.
yeah.
Should have been talking about it.
At least the Iowa faithful.
Of course, how many times did they replay it? And it looked like, Beckers was going to get around the screen, but Clark was over there near the side court, and there was another Iowa player. I mean, she probably would have got off a shot, but I don't think it would have been a clear open shot. So, but we'll never know.
Yep, that's exactly right. We'll never know. And I was going to say in 20 years, but in 5 years, next year, nobody's even going to think about that. It's just going to be a win. 78-59 for South Carolina, dominating second half. I think I saw Darius Rucker in the.
He was there.
Yeah, in the camera zoomed in on him one time, watching his alma mater play. And UConn last night falls to Iowa 71-69. Just a very good basketball game.
Yeah, it was. Classic game.
Before we get into just talk a little bit about South Carolina and Iowa and what you guys think about it, was UConn clearly better than NC State? Was that a much tougher opponent, do you think?
I think so.
I mean, we could
Gino,
just go by the margin, and that's easy to say yes. But
it's because you have Gino Auriemma, who devised a really great game plan for Clark. I mean, she was just blanketing.
Oh, the first half especially.
Yeah.
I
even though UConn had lost a bunch of players to injury, I still think they were the better opponent.
Right. And wonder how many of those he's got coming back next year, or how many are gone. Do any of those 5 starters graduate?
I don't know, but several freshmen had to step up during this injury run they had. I don't think can Beckers come back? I'm not sure whether.
I'm not.
I don't know. I think she's gone.
You know, they don't talk about that as much during the women's game because the women don't leave early.
They don't leave early.
I think she can come back if she wants to, but I don't think she will.
Yeah. But there's other options.
Europeans 3.
Not European. Caitlin Clark got offered $5 million a year from what was it?
The Big Three.
The Big Three. To play in the 3-on-3 league. Who's the guy that started that, Brett?
Ice Cube's one of the main guys. I don't know if he's over it.
Dr. Dre's not in on that?
I don't think so.
Okay. I was trying to think of who else.
There's a couple others.
Ice Cube's not the. I know he's in on it, but he's not the face that I was seeing. I'm just trying to remember. Whenever I see like who the spokesman is for that league,
I get Ice-T and Ice Cube confused sometimes.
I don't know if I can help you there, Mike. Ice Cube's in a lot of movies, right?
Yeah,
and Ice-T's on.
He's got a big presence.
Was it CSI or not CS? Law and Order. Is it Law and Order?
Yeah, it is.
They're both actors.
Yeah.
They're rappers turned actors.
SVU.
Well, now, is it Ice Cube who is hosting?
Mike Painter drives a Law and Order SUV.
I don't know.
Oh, man. Let's. Lenny, your thoughts on the call last night?
I'm not Brett. I could have went either way.
Yeah. But
I
you not called the game?
It was a foul. I mean, under normal circumstances, I guess I'm a.
First half, they call that? Nothing's ever said, right?
That's true.
Right.
Nothing's ever said. They just play right on.
Like you said, either way, if they go on score and make it, then it's a controversy either way. Yeah.
Did Gino's reaction maybe kind of fuel the fire a little bit because he just started slinging his head and slamming, on the. Which I don't blame him, but that could have been frustration because she did what she did. It may not have been from him thinking, the foul was bad. It just could have been because they gave themselves a chance to win.
I mean, I think it's kind of amazing Connecticut got where they were. Where they had five
players
over
out
the course of the season.
Oh, really?
I mean,
one of them averaged like 16 a game when she was playing.
Yeah.
Don Revel says Beckers has already announced she's coming back to UConn next year.
That's the little guard.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's been do they lose any vital piece?
Probably don't lose any vital
piece. And even if they do, if you got 5 people that went out with injury and never come back, there's going to be they're probably not going anywhere unless they're seniors and are forced to.
You just go ahead and pencil them in for next year's Final Four, probably.
something is wrong. Did we? Are we messed up? Are we on? Are we in the afternoon doing the show, or is it morning? I got a message from Steve K.
Well, his days are always.
I thought you meant because we talked
Maybe he ain't
12 minutes about
maybe he
women's basketball.
His message says Becker is coming back. Jason says the deadline to declare for the WNBA was earlier this week. Paige Beckers has opted to return to school. The WNBA draft is scheduled for April 15th.
Yeah.
They waste no time.
I was going to say it's known who's coming back and who's not.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just not known to me.
They waste no
I
time.
know.
That
About
is-
a week after the Final Four.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah,
Well,
get it over
that's
When's the
because of when their
WNBA?
season starts, isn't it?
When does it? It has to be. When does it start? And what does it matter while it's fresh on your mind? Here's what I think about drafts.
May 14th.
The NFL's gap between Super Bowl and draft is way too long
with. Oh God.
because a guy that might rank 30th all of a sudden becomes a 1 in 8 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
Through all the pro days and everything.
I think a lot of the GMs and the scouts may overanalyze things and get it wrong because there is so much time when it's not hot and fresh off your mind. This is probably the smartest way to do it, except for it's on tax day. Isn't that what I said? April 15th.
Well, what about the ones that are like a senior in college and they're wanting to graduate and their season starts May 14th? What do they do?
Is that when it does start?
Yeah.
May the 14th.
So you got the draft and the beginning of the season while school's still going.
And you sure they've got a little bit of a training camp before, a little bit.
Do they just let
When
them
is
stay?
graduation?
They just let them stay and finish. I mean, it's late May, isn't it, or mid?
I
is
would
it
guess in
mid-May,
college
late
it's
May?
earlier. When is college graduation?
In May, though.
Usually,
Probably.
Yeah.
most
About the time it starts.
most schools wrap up first or second week in May.
So maybe it can already be behind them. And if you're drafted, and you want to stay another week, if it's not much longer than that, just go ahead and stay that extra week. I don't know. I mean, I would think if at this day and time you wouldn't have a whole lot of trouble doing both. At some point in time, you might not get to do it.
Well, I was just
on stage
thinking,
with your.
If Caitlin Clark is the number one pick, and her first game is before she graduates college, and she wants to graduate, well, what's the WNBA going to think about that? They want her first game in the WNBA on TV. They want her in it.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do. Well, I'm guessing with what they will be paying her versus what Iowa was paying her, they'll probably have a little more leverage. I don't know that, but
Well,
Why does college mean anything to any of these basketball players anymore? Do they?
it does to Caitlin Clark. For sure.
And maybe she's already graduated. I don't know.
that's possible
Could
too.
be.
I mean, she could have finished all her credits in December.
This like
Yeah.
you're talking about Bukers.
But she
She's
might
probably
not get
already
to
got her.
attend
undergraduate
graduation
degree.
ceremony.
That's right.
I say like Buker, she's probably already got her undergraduate degree.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she's been hurt so much. I know she has to be a senior before.
I bet she's got 2 years left
Yeah.
of eligibility.
Yeah, I bet she does.
This is interesting. Jason says also with the Olympics happening this summer,
Oh, that's right.
the WNBA starting their season early as they will take a break during the season for the Olympics. So
How much earlier than normal is the WNBA starting that season? That's usually I thought it was June or July or something like that.
I don't know. Kind of to add to what Brett said, this is the most time we've spent on
I know
women's college basketball.
It is.
And I wonder why they don't do it during normal basketball season, because everybody else plays basketball
on draft night.
at the same time. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
I
all
don't know.
other basketball is being played around Christmas, New Year's, February, March. And maybe they wanted to get away from trying to compete, with viewers and
You're saying basketball season is going on.
right now. Well, high school's over.
No, I'm talking about
You're talking
the
when they play
draft.
summer, They're
NBA.
playing opposite of everybody else.
Yeah.
You won't say the NBA draft though. It's in the summer, isn't it? When
Yeah,
there
it's
is a break.
June.
Yeah.
June.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was wondering. I
After
thought
the NBA.
But I'm not talking about
I
the
know they do
draft.
the
I'm just
lottery.
saying their season is not at the same time as all other basketball seasons.
Oh, okay.
They're playing in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
High school, college, and pro isn't playing in the summer.
No.
My guess is that's for television.
What you probably said too is what you said, Brett. Probably the reason to get away from all the other basketball, because they'd get more media attention in the summer.
Yeah.
But that might change with the growth of women's sports in basketball in the last
I
couple
think
of
they're
years.
going to have to
That
start
could-
going up against the NBA.
and maybe that adjustment. When you were asking earlier, when did it start in the past? Like June, and it started in May. Maybe they're already moving in that direction.
Yeah.
I don't know when they started in the past.
Luckily, we're not in a world like this, but if you could have only watched one this year, would you have watched the men's tournament or the women's tournament?
The men.
Me,
The men.
I'm still the man.
Yep, me too. Me too, although I would have hated not getting to see
Because of women,
some
there's
of the
only
games.
2 or 3 games I
Right,
even care to
right.
watch.
You're
The
not
men,
gonna-
I want to see
You're not
all
going
of
to
them.
see those fantastic finishes like we see in the first and second round and stuff like that. Most of their games, if you're seated 5 spots higher, you're going to win by 25 or 30. That's just the way it is. Not as many upsets on the
Okay,
women's
now
side.
there was a question this week. Kamala Harris, the vice president, apparently made a goof saying when women's college basketball became part of March Madness.
What?
Yeah, officially part of March Madness with the brackets and everything, and the women's tournament brackets.
The way you said that to start with, I thought you were saying that she thought March Madness came before college basketball.
Yeah,
That's the way you made that sound, and I was like,
no,
'cause you said, when did
it
college
was just
basketball-
a year.
Now, he said, when did women's college basketball?
Yeah, become part of March Madness officially.
I don't know. Officially, how is it official?
Okay, I'll
What is official?
I'll find it.
I just don't know what officially means there, because March Madness to the men isn't really officially. It's just a
I'll get back.
nickname
with you.
given
I'll
the
get back-
sport.
I'll get
right?
back with you on that.
I don't. We have anything in the fall? Is there a fall? Anything? I don't know what the alliteration would be there. March Madness just fits right in, but yeah. Yeah, I would like to see the first year. Okay, in men's basketball, I would even like to see the first year that was their slogan, that they went to March Madness. My guess might have been the year after NC State won the '83
That'll
title, because that was really March Madness.
Bird and Magic.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how far you'd have to go back to when they gave it the nickname.
And did it
March
happen
Madness.
when it transferred over from NBC to CBS? I don't know if the network come up with that.
God, I wonder what
I
year
can't
that
remember
was.
when it was in the 70s, but I don't know.
70s or
don't know
early
what year.
80s. I can't remember which network carried Bird's Magic game. I don't know if that
At
was
least CBS
did they?
did, I think. But I don't hold me to that though.
I'm not sure either. Yeah, I would like to
some
see.
point in time it went
First
from-
year they came up with that, the
some
sign
point
in the
in time it
background.
went from
March Madness.
Thursday, Saturday to Saturday, Monday.
Jason says the women's tournament didn't get to use the moniker March Madness until 2022.
Right, that's what I was getting at.
After the uproar of the unfair treatment the women received in 21 for their tournament accommodations during COVID. I didn't realize it was that late because, and I didn't realize you could, as the men's could trademark that and not let anybody else use it either. I thought it was just a term used to describe.
Well, her claim was that women's basketball didn't have a bracket until 2022. She said this in an interview Thursday. I don't know. They were not allowed to have brackets until 2022. That's progress, she said.
Not allowed to have a bracket? What do you mean by that? Not allowed to.
But it goes on to say the women have had their own March Madness style NCAA tournament since 1982. Before that, they had a bracket style tournament. I think it was just a case of semantics. I don't know. I don't know. I think she really meant that it came under the cloak of March Madness in 2022, as you said.
I think there's been a bracket in women's basketball ever since they started having a tournament.
Well, yeah.
Somebody's got to draw it up.
She just used the wrong word, bracket. and then they vilified her in the media.
So what was she trying to identify instead of bracket?
I think she really was referring to this March Madness thing.
Yeah.
Don Revel says March Madness, Elite Eight, Final Four, and the Big Dance are all trademarked by the NCAA.
Right.
Men? Or is that?
Just those.
Probably just the NCAA. Right.
Yeah, men or women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of that stuff you can't use in advertising. You can't say Super Bowl. You can't use Super Bowl in an advertising commercial because that's a trademark. You say the big game.
So you can't say the
Unless
Super
they
Bowl
pay.
of
Is that
snacks.
right? Unless they
You
pay.
can't. You can't even
Because
say.
I think some
I
of the
just
cars
did.
have, but I'm sure they pay it
Unless you pay a royalty.
because they saying I'm the official sponsor of the NCAA or something like that.
I just used that. Didn't realize it. Spring break this week. A lot of high school teams, baseball, some softball, getting some games in. A lot of area teams. It looks like just by looking, played in New York. Now I was trying to figure Cherryville out. I'm thinking Cherryville hosted a New York team.
No.
Is that not right?
Let me set the record straight.
Because nobody can
No.
tell me. Or no, I hadn't really asked.
Cherryville went to Disney World.
Okay, and that's where they played
for
the team.
vacation and also to play 3 games.
They played the same team twice.
Yep, they played the same team out of New York twice.
Yeah, and it was
and another team.
I can't think of the name of it right now, but
Yeah,
it
it's
was,
hard
Chile,
to
wasn't it?
pronounce. Yeah,
Last name was Chile, wasn't it? Was
yeah,
that
Churchill Chili or something like that
Yeah.
was one of them. But all 3 teams, they played 2 teams and played one of them twice. Both teams were out in New York. We went 2-1. Won the first 2, lost the third.
okay.
But it was really a trip to Disney World. They just played a couple games.
Yep. I didn't know exactly where everybody went, but I've seen scores, and
All
most
over the
most of the
place.
opponents are New York based teams. I know that
Well, they'd like to come down for spring break too, right?
I'm assuming East Lincoln, North Lincoln. I was getting the information, but it never said where. But I'm assuming they were in Myrtle Beach playing. I think. I don't think either one of those teams lost to their opponents.
Right.
But
But of course, you mentioned going out of state, but look how many local tournaments we had. Cleveland County or Shelby had one. Gaston County Easter tournament is still,
how does that thing hang on?
I don't know, but they still have it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering. I mean,
Some teams have opted out to do other things
Yeah.
during the break, but
Yep.
they still have, East Gaston, North Gaston, Huss, all those. Hatchbrook.
Yep, just I was wondering how it hung on. And there were some other games this week with some matchups that were just a little bit
It
bizarre.
looked weird, yeah,
you
they
know.
look weird.
But but it's good to see some of these teams having success against teams from other state. I think it gives you an idea that our baseball is pretty strong.
But what are you guys' thoughts about that? Combining tournaments in other states with kind of a vacation type feel. Perfectly fine. The one problem is, and it happened not too long ago in Gaston County, when you take kids on the road like that, you've got to make sure you monitor them very closely.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially
I mean,
if you're going to
that's
a
right.
Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. The parents, I guess, are involved too, but that's an edgy thing for a coach.
Yeah, I'm going to guess a lot of parents do go, but all of them can't go. I'm still work week.
Some of them can't get off of work. Some of them can't afford it.
Right,
I mean,
right. And how do they fund it? Where do they raise money for it all year? Maybe raise money through these discount cards.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Direct online appeals. I heard one.
Can you imagine what a hotel room would cost? I haven't been in a long time, believe me, but what a hotel room would cost Myrtle Beach for spring break?
Yeah.
That's when they jack them up.
One parent told a friend of mine that's with the Cherryville team that he ended up, it's going to cost him around $8,000 or $9,000 total expenses for the entire Disney
For the family?
Yeah, for the entire Disney World experience for a week.
Wow.
For the family.
Family.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think all the players.
I can see that.
Not all the players. could,
I've been recently.
And what's sad is.
I was thinking about the Myrtle Beach trip, though.
Yeah, but not all the players could go. On
God, that was 8,000 or 9,000.
What?
I just quit.
What do you think it would be? 2?
Myrtle Beach.
for the stay. I mean, it might cost you $2,000 to go, a family to go down there and get a room for the probably 4 nights. I don't know. I mean, because it's spring break.
Spring break.
Yeah.
Just
Prices are jacked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. I guess if you don't stay oceanfront, you might
Yeah.
come out a little better. And I'm guessing though that those teams and their families get to spend a good bit of beach time because your entire game process would probably take up 5 hours. You know, a couple hours before. When it's over though, it's over, and you just
I think it started to become like it's like a recruiting tool. Remember, the college coach would say to recruits, "Yeah, we're going to the Maui Classic next season, or we're going to the Great Alaska Shootout." I don't think they have that anymore.
does that even help anymore
I don't know.
in recruiting?
Maybe
I mean,
not. They want to show me the money. They don't want to know about
Yeah,
some crew trip to an exotic location.
yeah. I heard some really good interviews this week on a couple different
I
shows.
don't know
and-
what my NIL's going
Yeah, one of them. Well, Dan Patrick asked Tom Izzo, said, "How deep into the recruiting conversation once you go in a guy's door does or the transfer portal, either one, do they say, what's my package look like? How deep are you there? 5 minutes? Are you there 2 minutes? Are you there 30 minutes before they say,
Yeah.
what's my package
wonder.
look like? Because that's just the way it is this day and time.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and you know the old the senior college coaches just absolutely in
Well,
football and basketball
Yeah, that's-
can't take it. Can't take it.
I think that's
Think
right.
Nick Saban would have stepped down if it
I think
wasn't
he might
for,
have helped. He still seemed robust. I think he would have gone a couple.
and
years.
I can see Tom Izzo doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, pretty soon because he's. I mean, in his interview, he was
What'd he
totally
say?
against all
It
of
was
just against every bit of it.
Everything.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just totally
It's a-
against.
It's a young coach's game now.
Oh
Just
yeah.
about. It has to,
Oh
you know.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and it makes me wonder what length of time would the 10-year and more guys all hate it? The 5-year, or 0 to 10 maybe be okay with what's going on today because, and the new coach coming in, it doesn't bother him at all because it's just the way of the.
Them 0 to 10. They got most of them are young guys,
Yeah,
and they've
they-
got more
they-
energy.
Yeah.
I think you
And
know.
they could adapt to change
Right.
easier than your older
Right.
coaches. I think.
I've been doing this way for
Whoever
40
thought though
years.
in college sports these days you have to hire a GM.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm kind of talking from the Carolina perspective, but everybody went their different routes. But when Roy was at Carolina, and I felt like Krzyzewski eventually started following Calipari's route. By
Yeah.
getting
One and done.
one and doners, and
He
I
did.
don't think Williams liked that. He wanted his all right for getting a one and done, but he didn't want 4 or 5.
Well, that's what I was going to
and
say.
he wanted to build a team, and then
I still think it's okay if you
and-
mix one in.
And I think he had adapted to that, and then the transfer portal came in, and then all of a sudden you got to re-recruit everybody. And I
right.
think that's
Right. Well, am I not correct in saying that none of the starting 5 for NC State, who is in today's Final Four,
you are correct.
started their
That's amazing.
careers at NC State?
That is
Correct on that.
amazing.
Well, Baylor won a title a few years ago that way.
Same
They-
way.
They had
Same
all,
way.
all 5 starters were transfers.
Now Baylor did it the same.
But
way.
they weren't 19.
No,
They were probably average age 23
Yeah,
that's what
They
I'm
were older,
thinking.
or 24.
Yeah, 22, 23, 24.
It's hard to win those things with 19.
Right.
But when Duke started getting a lot of one and dones, I don't think Coach K said, "I'm going to start recruiting a bunch of one and done players." I think he just recruited the players that he wanted,
the ones he'd been doing before.
and those players became
Right.
one and dones because they went to Duke.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
It became the thing. If you go to Duke, you have a great shot
Right.
to launch
Yeah.
to the NBA.
No, I don't think I'm like you. I don't think that was his recruiting tactic.
No.
I think it was at Kentucky, Calipari. That was his sales pitch.
yeah.
I want the best, and you come in here and I'll
Well-
groom you for 1 year, and you're gone. But I don't
how
think
does
that
that
was
help?
Duke's.
It's wearing on the Kentucky fan
Problem
base.
is though that doesn't help the Kentucky fan base.
No, exactly.
Yep.
Well, that was all right 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But now the landscape has changed so much that
Mm-hmm.
what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, isn't
That's
that
right.
isn't that the truth? It's time for us to take our first time out. These guys don't look like they're prepared.
Well, I'm right wrong.
Oh, okay. I don't know who went first last week.
I think I did.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay.
If you are up to it, here we go with our first.
I heard this song on classic vinyl on the way up. Okay.
Yeah. classic vinyl.
Here's the first 4 lines. All I'm giving.
4 lines. Don't give 4. Just
Okay,
give.
2. You're leaving now. It's in your eyes.
I got it. Back in a moment.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Dr. John Clonger III and Dr. Aaron Hebner's mission is to earn their patients' respect and trust through the commitment and positivity, and offer the dental solutions in a professional environment to improve oral and overall health. The practice will be accepting new patients. Just call 704-735-0765 to schedule an immediate appointment. We can provide services like extractions, crowns, bridges, fillings, night guards, cleanings, and deep cleanings, sleep apnea appliances, partials, and dentures. We can also advise determine a treatment plan for dental implants. Dr. John Clonger III and Dr. Aaron Hebner, 904 Daunchy Drive, Lincolnton. Call 704-735-0765 to schedule your appointment and experience the dental profession in a warm and no-pressure environment. I'm telling you, the apple didn't fall far.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
It's time to get ready for spring. Time to head to Full Throttle Power Sports and 95 Trailers. Test drive an ATV or side-by-side today. Full Throttle Power Sports carries CF Moto, Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Honda, and Slingshot. And check out the trailers with brand names like SureTrack, Iron Bull, and Triton. Stop by or give them a call at 704-833-1270. Full Throttle Power Sports, 100 Indian Walk in Lowell. Online at ncfullthrottle.com. They deal in fun.
Hi, folks. This is Will Poteet, president and co-owner of RE/MAX Crossroads. The real estate market is ever-changing, but it's not too late to sell your home for a great price. If you're thinking about selling your home, give us a call at 704-736-1717 to speak with one of our expert agents. We would love the opportunity to earn your business.
This is Creighton Kell with Kell Insurance. We have been helping people for over 25 years with all their Medicare needs. We represent the same national and local companies as the insurance agencies you see on TV. And you know what? We can sit down with you one-on-one and help you find the right plan just for you.
Kell Insurance is located beside the Cultural Center and behind Gillum Realty in downtown Lincolnton. 107 North Cedar Street. Call 704-732-4646 and follow them on Facebook. Kell Insurance.
Welcome back, Sports Talk. David, Brett, Mike, Lenny joining in today. To Mike's lyrics.
Yep.
Say them one more time. You're leaving now.
I'll give you the first stanza. You're leaving now. It's in your eyes. There's no disguising it. It really comes as no surprise.
Yeah, and I got the band right, but I had the wrong song. I think they must have had two big hits and I chose the wrong one.
You did.
So we'll get there in a minute. Jason said he heard Bruce Pearl say in an interview yesterday that players in the transfer portal are asking for a starting price of, anybody want to guess?
100,000.
Close. Players in the transfer portal are asking for a starting price of this much NIL money. And Mike said, what'd you say, 100?
Just right off the top of my head.
How much did you say?
100,000.
Oh, I said close. You're not. I thought you said $1 million, and I said, I was going to say close, but $750K.
Wow.
750K.
So what?
Now I'm
I
sure
don't know what that means. That's the lowest anybody's asked for.
Jeez.
Because he said that's the starting.
Well, I'm guessing people would take less, but this is probably from the people that.
Because there's all kinds of people in the transfer portals out there. I mean, there's guys that average 2 a game and guys that average 20.
The guy from Canisius averaging 6. He's probably not going to ask for $750,000. You know, I'm just throwing that out there, but you may know that guy. I don't. But
so the hottest guard in the transfer portal is this guy from Belmont, averaged 16 points a game, shot 45% from 3. That sounds like something he might ask.
Do you know where Belmont is?
Tennessee.
Nashville.
Yeah, I was just going to say be more specific. Yeah, it is. Not Belmont Avenue.
No, not Belmont Avenue.
And that is
no.
And that is Tyson. Cade, what's Cade?
Yeah, that's
played Clemson the year before, last year.
He's
his younger brother.
I don't know what he's wanting, but he's very coveted.
Duke and Carolina have both been in contact with him.
Okay.
He's got a real high three-point shooting percentage.
I want to connect. I don't know. Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah, connect.
I didn't say I want to connect. I said I want a connect. Northern Colorado?
He came from Northern Colorado.
Wow.
But he was known too.
Oh my gosh.
He was in there with Carolina. Carolina was in the hunt for him before he went to
Is he a lottery pick?
They're saying he is.
Just because he can shoot so well?
What do you think Carolina paid for Ingram? It was a huge piece of their team this year out of Stanford. Mm-hmm.
How many ACC teams?
And how does that? I don't even know how it works. When you say how much Carolina paid for him.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. Believe me. When I say paid, that's probably not the correct word.
And you were talking about what'd you say,
what else is it?
750,000?
I don't know what else you want to call
if
it.
Bruce Pearl says that the starting price, and I'm guessing it's like I said, players he's contacted, they've said $750,000.
And I hadn't seen it, but sometimes it'll show their name, and out beside it'll say their estimated value. And some of those guys is ridiculous. You know, like last year that were even in our program. You know, that had not been in the portal. And I thought, how do you put a
so if you want to pick up 3 players in the portal and you want 3 quality players, you're looking at about $2.5 million dollars to do that.
Well, now all this comes out of a collective. That's what most of the big-time schools have done, formed a collective. I don't know the exact definition of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, explain that.
Can anybody explain what
Boosters pay for this for me, will you? I'm collecting.
Well, I thought these players were using their name, image, and likeness to make money.
Yeah, not
while they're at the school.
Yeah, not from the school.
I didn't think Carolina was just telling Harrison Ingram, "Hey, if you come here, we'll give you $1 million next year."
How quickly it turned, right?
But is there any regulation? Why can't
I don't know.
do that?
How many D1 schools out there with basketball programs? Let's just say Power 5 schools. How many Power 5 schools you think cannot afford 3 NIL players every year?
Well, I'd say there are some.
And I'm talking about transfers. I'm not talking about what they're paying their own guys already.
If they're going to play 3,
there are some. I think 99% of them can afford it and never look back.
You do? That many?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The Power 5s, yeah.
Okay.
They're rolling in money.
$3 million? Yeah, it's probably
nothing.
Nothing.
Well,
it's nothing.
You know how much ACC made this year from the tournament?
From the NCAA tournament or from the ACC tournament?
The NCAA tournament, just from the men's showing, $36 million.
$36 million.
So, and that's spread evenly amongst all schools?
Yeah.
I don't know about the women.
Even to Florida State and Clemson, who
Well,
maybe
I think it's spread evenly after the expenses are accounted for the
Right,
teams. You know,
right.
after that, then
it's
it's
$2 million an entry, $2 million of an appearance, I believe, isn't it? Something like that.
so that pays for 2 of your guys right there. Now, when he says
Well-
starting at $750,000, I'm sure there's some that want $2 million.
Yeah.
I've heard this about Carolina, and I don't understand it, but like somehow their apparel has been tied in. One part of their apparel has been tied into NIL, like a certain company. That some of that money's been put into an NIL. So, but I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
No businessman. You
Glad
know.
I don't have to know how that
I don't
works.
even care about all this stuff.
Yeah,
I
I'm about
just-
the same way. I don't either. It's
Let me tell you one thing.
The NIL deal, the current NCAA rule says you cannot discuss NIL until you enroll. It's not to be used as a recruiting tool because that would be tampering.
Right.
But a federal judge blocked that, said that was antitrust, so it's tied up in court. But it was never intended to be a recruiting tool.
Right.
It was something you got once you were enrolled.
you were there.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a promise. You know. Yeah.
It wasn't, but I guarantee
But
you,
yeah.
90% of them are. I mean, who's going to go somewhere without knowing they're getting that?
Well,
Because you can go, you know, I mean, you could just pick another school.
what was the little guard at Miami that was there again this year? That he came from Kansas State 2 years ago. It was pretty much NIL money. You come here, this is what you're gonna
Yeah,
get,
that's
and
what
then
it
it got Wong upset.
They might as
Yeah.
well change that
And I can't
because
think of his
Was that
he played
Pat?
last year, and I can't.
Was it Pack?
Pack, that's him.
Yeah,
Nigel Pack.
Nigel Pack.
Richard says, interesting, Caitlin Clark will make more money in just one of her many endorsements than she will make in her first 3 years in the WNBA.
Yeah, they don't make.
Well, you know, that's
First
good. I'm
3
glad
years.
there's that opportunity out there.
Yeah.
I'm glad there's money like that out there waiting on her. Her WNBA salary will be $75,000 per year
For 3 years.
because the WNBA loses money each year
Oh, yeah.
and is funded by
Hemorrhages.
NBA, and they
That's right.
can't pay much.
No.
She made $3 million in NIL at Iowa. WNBA would be bankrupt if not for the sponsors.
Oh, yeah.
And said nobody would watch.
Mm-mm.
You know,
They
nobody
don't
would watch.
So
that.
she made, what'd you say, $3 million in NIL at Iowa?
Yes.
And some of these guys are asking, that's crazy. You know, when she's underpaid NIL. If that's the case for some
probably. She brought a lot of attention to
That's
the
exactly
University of
right.
Iowa. A lot of attention to which was, you know,
She's sort of, you can't place a value on what she's done for Iowa. Just like whatever salary they were going to pay Nick Saban, he was worth every penny. I mean, the
Yeah, he could-
value is inestimable.
you're probably right. He could
right.
probably demanded what he wanted.
Whatever, I mean,
Or,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and they would have probably had to pay it.
That's how much he means to that brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know. Is it here for good?
That's a good question. The NCAA doesn't seem to have enough clout or authority to impose any real rules for it.
That's all. You know.
That's where they missed the boat when they sit there and on their hands while it was developing.
Yeah.
And you know, once you let the Pandora out of its box, it's
Problem
too
is the
late.
courts pretty much sided with players, have they not? I mean, and all this initiative has been backed up by the courts.
I think it's here to stay in
Maybe.
some form. It may change. It may adjust from year to year.
Could be.
Might find better ways of doing it. More
what-
fair ways of doing it.
The one thing I like about it, I mean, I don't know that I've liked it yet, but I'm hoping that some of Duke's players are eventually going to start staying longer than 1 year, even though they could be drafted
That's right.
early in the draft
Well, I mean,
because they can make money while they're at Duke.
I think
So they don't have as big of a need or an urge to leave.
I think that figured in the return of the 3 sophomores this year.
Yeah.
Filipowski, Proctor, and Mitchell.
Jason says Carolina basketball hired T.J. Beisner to run their NIL collective, the Secondary Break Club. I like the name of that, the Secondary Break Club. Beisner came from Kentucky. Right now there are 2 different – Kentucky should have kept him. Right now there are 2 different avenues of NIL. One, a player can go out and obtain endorsements. 2, the collective school is what the schools have to pay their players to do endorsements or set up endorsement deals for their players once the players sign to the school. I would say most of them's going that second route, not having to
go out and find stuff themselves.
Yeah.
Which I thought when NIL started, I thought that's what it was going to be.
Yeah.
The players could go out and find people to work for that could use their name and face.
Do a commercial. Just like Baycott did a something commercial. I don't know what it was he did, but he was on a commercial during the NCAAs, and I don't remember seeing another player doing one.
Cadeau. I saw him in a.
Did he do one? Yeah, that's right. He was doing one little. Yeah. But there was a lot of ACC players in that. They were just wasn't it ACC players coming
earlier in the season? Sometime in the season, DJ Burns and RJ Davis did a commercial for something. That was during the regular season. I can't. In any way, they brought Duke into it because of the Duke guy. So I'm the one that came up with the idea. Because they said, "Where's the other team at?" And he said, "I'm the other team. I came up with the idea." He wasn't an athlete. He was just a student, like. And I can't even remember now what they were.
He's rolling in the dough as well.
But it was RJ Davis and DJ Burns.
Basically an agent.
Yeah.
Handling that for him.
Okay, so you're saying they create collectives, and then people managing the collectives go out and look for deals for these players? I mean, like market them through the collective?
I think that's the way the Carolina thing works. And Duke went and hired somebody
and then
the year before that same thing. That was trying to get ahead of the NIL.
And then they've got stuff in place for them. So when they get to the school, they probably got everything scheduled. Like you go do this commercial and you get your check. And
right.
They don't have to go out and look for... I
like that.
At the big schools, they wouldn't have to look too hard. I mean, places will be contacting them as soon as they get on campus.
And if you're going to have that, I like it where there's some control, but that's not going to stop some of these other from what you just said.
You know what? We used to crucify people for this and say
this amount.
Say this guy's. We used to call him a crook. We used to call a coach a crook that would do what we're doing today.
Yeah, I know.
And that's why I think just let the schools pay them. I mean.
Well, then it's professionalism.
Right? Yeah.
Let's go ahead and call it.
It's already professionalism.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then your bigger schools, though, are always going to win it. Mm-hmm. Your schools with the most money or always have a chance. They may not always win it, but
just like in pro sports, right? The teams with the most money typically.
Well, and I heard this about a week ago. I believe it's on ACC Network. They were interviewing Kevin Keats, and he's kind of joking, but then again, he probably wasn't. I know Packer said, "I'm gonna get a lottery ticket," and he said, "I want you to give me the numbers because you're hot right now. Everything you do is touch and go." So he gave him the number, and he said, "Well, here's the deal. If I do give you these numbers," he said, "I won't." And Packer said, "Oh, I'll share it all with you if we win." Mm-hmm. And he said, "Well, I want it to go to the NC State NIL program." And he's joking, but in some ways, I'm sure they've got something, just like everybody else,
Yeah, why wouldn't he want that?
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it. Why would he not want that to go to their NIL program? It's a different world now. With betting in the sports as well.
Did you guys get sick of all the betting commercials that we saw in the last couple of weeks? They seemed like they were on a loop over.
I like them better than Lumi. You guys don't even know what that is, do you? I'm glad.
I don't. Over my head.
Beyond my pay rate.
Oh, the deodorant for women that you can put anywhere.
Oh. What's the name of it again? Lumi?
Mike's going to look it up. Let's see.
Lumi or Lumi?
Oh, man. That's a scary thought. Mike will be in the store looking. Don't ask for anybody for that, Mike, while you're doing your shopping.
All right.
Congratulations last night again to Iowa pulling off the win off over UConn, and South Carolina steamrolling their way. How many titles has South Carolina won?
Two.
Actually,
is it two?
Two.
Is it? I don't know. I mean, I'm asking the question. Let's see. Jason says right now Carolina's the only one to multiplayer national commercials in the NCAA tournament. Baycott, the TurboTax commercial, and Cadeau. Following what Lenny said, basically here. This is a great one. Not Marvin, but Harrison Ingram. I was going to give it to Marvin Harrison. Harrison Ingram.
Marvin Hagler.
In a KFC commercial. Hadn't seen that one.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Haven't seen that one.
Have not seen that one. Let's see. Trying to turn our attention here to a little Major League Baseball. Lenny, I got to ask you, what has got into our Red Sox?
It's early.
Yeah, it is.
What's
early.
that old saying? You can can't win a pennant in April, but you can sure lose one. And maybe we'll be in it a little longer.
Boston has come out swing. Hadn't played a home game yet. Been on the West Coast for every game. But did you watch any last night?
I did. I watched it. Saw the end.
Did you see the terrible defensive inning?
No, I missed that.
I was watching. It was awful.
It was 5-1, and I had to go down to my mother's and do something. I come back, and it's 6-5. I thought
routine fly ball to center. The guy just kind of nonchalantly catches it for about 1/10 of a second, and it falls right out of his glove. Then the next play, there's an infield error. Let's see, how did it work? I don't know if it was a throwing error or what. But then
say a couple errors.
Then a hit batter, then a grand slam.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, that game went from 5-1 to tied.
6-6.
Or 6-6. That's what they did. They tied it
I
up.
was really going to go to bed, and then I said, I can't stay up and watch the end, but I did.
I didn't stay up and watch it all. I fell asleep, but I did. When I woke up, I saw my alert saying that they had won once again 8-6 last night over the Angels.
2 home runs.
More home runs.
2 home runs in that. Went from 6
when
to
they
6.
took the lead.
2 over.
Okay.
Durant hit a home solo, and
Trevor Story went out of the game with an injured shoulder.
I didn't hear that till this morning.
You can about forget about him.
Yeah, he's just
ever
a walking injury.
Anything.
But Devers last night got hit on the hand. I thought he was going to come out, but he didn't. He stayed in the game. He got hit on the hand, the fingers against the bat and the baseball, and it took him a while. It probably delayed the game about 10 minutes, but he did stay in. But I thought that was
might not be out today though.
Right. It might be swollen and more sore.
Something
today.
about the shortstops that come from Colorado. Troy Tulowitzki had injuries his whole career. Now Trevor Story's going to have that same problem.
That's kind of weird, isn't it? Speaking of Colorado, I was watching the game yesterday between Colorado and Tampa. And I just flip it. It was on MLB. So I just leave it there. And it's 6-2 in the ninth, right? So what happens? Just what you'd expect, right? Tampa scores 4 runs to tie it, 6-6. And in the bottom of the inning, the Rockies, actually they took the lead.
Went up
Tampa
7-6, didn't
yeah,
it?
Tampa went up 7-6. And in the bottom of the inning, the Rockies score must have been a grand slam.
Yeah, it was a grand slam.
Yeah, to win the game 10-7.
Walk-off grand slam.
And I think that last inning might have lasted about half as much as the rest of the game because so many runs being scored in that final inning. But that was you don't see that every day, a team blow a lead of 4 runs and then top it by
come back and
getting 4 of their own and winning the game. Red Sox score was 8-6 last night. 3 errors though in that column. That's, you're lucky to win when you make 3 errors in a Major League Baseball game. Blue Jays over the Yankees 3-0. The Sacramento A's. I'll get you guys' thoughts on that in a little bit. The Sacramento A's fall to Detroit. What about the Tigers? 6-1, off to a really good start in the American League.
Yeah.
The Cubs outslugged the Dodgers. Dodgers with more hits, but Cubs win 9-7. Just told you about Tampa and Colorado. Colorado winning 25 hits in that game. They win 10-7. Orioles over the Pirates, the 6-2 Pirates, which is also a surprise here to start the season. But the Orioles win yesterday on the road 5-2. Mike's Giants defeat the Padres. Mike's Giants are 3-5.
Yeah, not a good start.
3-2 over the Padres. Padres just about as bad, Mike, 4-6.
Yeah.
The Mets defeat the Reds 3-2. Let's see. Steve K's Reds, however, are still 4-3. What do you think about the all-black uniforms, Steve K? I'd like to hear your comments on that. I'm not a fan.
I don't think he's a fan.
You need some white on it to trim it out with if you're going to just use red and black. At least, trim it out where you can read the words Cincinnati or Red Legs, whatever it may be.
Is that a permanent uniform? Was that one of those, what they, city something they call that? I can't remember the name.
I'm hoping
Boston has them.
Hoping it was temporary.
Boston has those yellow ones. That's their.
And I'm okay with those as long as they only wear them once every 2 weeks or so. I don't want to see that every day.
No, I'm like you.
Braves, I think this was a walk-off home run last night. Travis d'Arnaud, did I say that right?
It wasn't a home run.
Was it not?
No.
Walk-off hit?
Yeah.
6-5, they beat the Diamondbacks. Braves 4-2 to start the season. White Sox fall to the Royals 2-1. Astros, boy, you talking about a team having a hard time getting started. What is going on in Houston? 10-2 last night. The Rangers pounded them with 16 hits in that game. Astros 2-6.
And the Astros are kind of following that same pattern they had last year. Can't win at home because most of those have been, if not all of them.
Well, they were swept by the Yankees.
Swept by the Yankees.
4 straight.
And I think this one's at Houston,
I think, yeah. Actually, this was their first road game.
Okay.
It looks they're 0-1, so it had to be their first road game last night, playing still in their home state, different city. Mariners, Brewers win 8-5 over the Mariners last night in Major League Baseball. Mike, give us the lyrics you have one more time. It's time for us to take our halftime timeout here. It's in your eyes.
You're leaving now. It's in your eyes. There's no disguising it. It really comes as no surprise.
And I guessed Asia.
You're right.
As the group, but I had the song wrong because I thought it was Heat of the Moment. And the song is, nobody ever got it, right?
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. I remember it now, but you definitely had to put it in my head.
I still don't.
For me.
Really?
Know the group.
It was half of their hits.
Yeah, half of their 2 hits.
You going, Brett, or am I?
It doesn't matter.
Go ahead. Mine's not up on the screen.
Oh, wait a minute. A couple of listeners on Facebook say hello to Stephen Lowe and Carol Ricks Pendleton.
Good deal.
Good deal. Thank you.
Glad to have them. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. Just a castaway, an island lost at sea. Oh, another lonely day with no one here but me. Oh. That's it.
Just a
Classic.
Classic rock.
Classic rock.
Back in a moment.
Ooh.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln has been serving the Piedmont of North and South Carolina since 1919. Sure, they deliver to your home with home heating oils. They'll help keep you warm, but they do a whole lot more. They feature bulk fuel delivery, on-site and commercial fueling, backup generator fueling, and farm and agricultural fueling. For home or business or farms, call on Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln, 704-735-2508. Online at rhodesandbill.com, located at 1404 East Main Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook, too.
For where 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10, and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models. at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vale. Online at westendSales.com and like them on Facebook too.
Western Steer Family Steakhouse in Newton has the best food around. Their buffet is like no other. Fried chicken, meatloaf, baked chicken, beef tips with peppers and onions, pintos and macaroni cheese, green beans, yams, and the best salad bar around. Hours of business Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Western Steer Family Steakhouse, 334 Southwest Boulevard, Newton. Call for takeouts at 704-325-3926. Like them on Facebook.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Call Mr. Sparky today at 704-499-8119.
Since 2015, Zeus Auto Repair and Performance has proudly served the greater Lincolnton area. Jay, John, Tucker are there to meet all your automotive needs, including oil changes, brakes, suspension, car detailing, North Carolina state inspections, and much more. With 3 licensed state inspectors on site, you're sure to receive the quickest and best service in town. Stop by and see the boys of Zeus Auto Repair and Performance located at 1122 South Aspen Street in Lincolnton, the old Rose Brothers service station, next to Randall's Grill for all your automotive needs. Open 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call them today at 704-240-3061. Zeus Auto Repair and Performance.
Welcome back. Glad to have you with us Saturday morning. David, Mike, Lenny, Brett. We do have a guest from a guest on Brett's song. Give us the lyrics again before I tell you what Ned Yates has to say.
And I'll give you an extra 2 lines.
All right.
Yeah.
Just a castaway, an island lost at sea. Oh, another lonely day with no one here but me. Oh, more loneliness than any man could bear. Rescue me before I fall into despair. Oh.
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 Okay, so I mentioned a movie a little while ago.
So if you hear the if you can like hear this in your head, the O is important because you would hear that. You would hear that in your head too.
Well, with the guest that came in, we talked about Castaway a little earlier, so I said that's all I can get out of my head. He actually had one of these, right? On the beach. There's your hint. What did he have on the beach?
That's not a volleyball.
No, Wilson was never laid out on the beach a lot. What did he have on the beach? Here's your better hint than that. That he wanted someone to see. Did anybody in here watch the movie Castaway? Other than me. What did he have on the beach that he wanted somebody to see?
A message.
SOS.
Bingo.
Message in a bottle. SOS.
Lenny got the title of the song.
Yep.
Now who's it by?
Sending out.
Is that right, Brett? Are we on the right track here?
The title is Message in a Bottle.
Yep, Message in a Bottle. Mike's got the title right. Sung by
Police.
Yes. There you go.
All
Sung by the Police.
Yeah. I tell you, I was going to do a Police song today that I heard on the way up here. Spirits in the Material World. I wonder how you'd have done on that one.
What's the first line?
I don't remember.
Attaboy,
But we are spirits in the material world.
Well, that would have given it away.
That's how it starts out, isn't it?
That would have given it away. You know, eventually we're going to have to do some that have the second or third line because so many songs
Yeah.
begin with the title. You know.
No.
See if you can get this one. First word, Roxanne. Brett did that last week, didn't he? Did he say that? Roxanne. You want to guess who that is? That's another Police song, right?
Sure, of course.
Here's one thing I would have trouble doing. I would have trouble dividing the songs by the Police and the songs by Sting himself.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I would have a lot of issue with that. Would you, Brett? Why am I surprised you picked a Police song? Are you a fan?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I didn't know. Yeah. It seems like when I'm riding with Brett, it's the Beatles channel. Somewhere, maybe some Bruce Springsteen mixed
I listen
in.
to the Beatles channel a lot because
Yeah.
you hear a lot of good stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one I'm trying to think of that Brett listens to a lot, Led Zeppelin, obviously. And I can't remember. There was another one I had on the tip of my tongue that, Bob Dylan, because he's old school.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a channel.
No, he does not have a channel.
My favorite is Lithium. For 92
Yeah, I listen to that
miles.
one a good bit. I also listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers channel, which is 315 a good bit.
Okay, let me write that down. Beatles is 18, right?
18.
Yeah.
I hate to say, I'm not in a vehicle long enough anymore to care what stations or where. I'm rarely
not anymore.
Rarely in a vehicle.
No.
But that's neither here nor there. Let's turn our attention now to the men's NCAA tournament.
I did want to say something real quick. You were talking about baseball briefly.
Yes.
You said Atlanta won, but did I hear this correct? Spencer Strider had to leave the game and has an MRI scheduled today. I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but so it don't sound good. You know,
well, let's see. I was going to see if there's anything on my.
I don't even know if he pitched.
top
If he
headlines.
pitched yesterday and he had to leave the game.
Yeah, he did pitch.
I think I had elbow discomfort.
I was wanting to see if I saw any highlight on him, and it says Brave Strider has an elbow discomfort, just like you said, Lenny. Almost, it's like you're sitting here reading this, and he's set to have test.
Okay,
so he's going to have test.
I didn't think I was.
This is the one that stands out to me out of all the headlines today, and I love this. UConn on late foul call, not the reason we lost. That's all you got to say.
That's what I got to say.
I give him a whole lot more respect.
That's
Which
not the reason we lost.
Paige Beckers did in the press conference. I
don't know who said that. I'm guessing Gino. You know, it doesn't say it. Just says not.
You're good. That's.
I'm just guessing that it was maybe him that said that, but that's a classy way to do it.
Yep.
You know, and I agree. I mean, had multiple opportunities without that, and if you're going to call the game, you should call it the same in the first half as you do the second half, and even if there's only 10 seconds to go. And we all agreed it was a foul. You know, it was a foul, but they're getting blamed because they called it with 10 seconds to go instead of, you know.
That's right.
That call in the first half, you'd have never heard anything.
Foul's a foul.
I got a question for you guys. Did you guys think Caitlin Clark was a little too unselfish in the final 2 minutes of the game? I mean, particularly as it was ticking down, you want the ball in your best player's hands, and she was passing off.
Yeah,
then
but for the most part, though, Mike, she was giving passes to people with good looks.
I know, but I'm saying, but isn't it conventional? You know, it's ticking down. The game's on the line. You want the ball in the hands of your best player.
And you had it in her hand when she's out there dribbling, holding for that last possession.
But
then went to the basket and give it up.
I recall she missed a free throw down the stretch.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she didn't
could have been huge.
She didn't have one of her typical games.
Well,
she did get really strong defensive pressure.
I'm going to go ahead and be honest here. I dozed off during the first half of the game. Nothing shocking there, right? But I woke up and watched the entire second half of that game.
I didn't see.
But when I saw how many points she have at halftime, 6. How are they in the game still?
Right.
I know.
They're more than just her.
They are more than her.
They got a good team.
But if you told me she had 6 at half, though, I'd say they're down at least 10.
She gets other players good shots.
She does.
I think
she
they
does.
won because that sophomore freshman big inside stepped up.
Yeah, she played great.
23 points. So.
She was a freshman.
Yeah.
Steckler or something.
Steckler, yeah.
Stifler. Brett's friend. He met him one time. Stifler from what's the name of American Pie.
Yeah.
Just checking things out here. Let's just jump it right. Who's your two winners today? Are we all going to be different? Are we all going to be the same? Who's going with UConn in the nightcap?
I am.
I am.
Although.
Oh, here we go.
If there's one team, I mean, Alabama's got so many shooters. They got so many ways to score. If they're hitting, they might give UConn a game.
If they can play at their pace.
Which is
Yeah,
very
if they can get
fast.
up and down the court, and I don't know how many shots that would be. I wonder what their average attempts are per game for the season for Alabama. I mean, they like to get it up and down the court and shoot it.
Nation in scoring. I mean, I don't know what.
Against Clemson, they were 29 for 62. That's not a ton.
They scored 89 points against two ACC teams, Carolina and Clemson.
Against Carolina,
What
they
the
were
numbers 89 and
89 in both games. I think
89
it
in
was.
both games.
They were 32 for 67 against Carolina.
So not a whole lot more shots.
And Carolina took 78 shots. Carolina took 11 more shots than.
That just means they out rebounded them.
Yeah.
Only by one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe turnovers. What was the turnover difference in that?
10, Alabama 10, Carolina 7.
Yeah.
Still
Carolina
close.
turnovers
Still
low.
close. Butch says she is a sophomore.
Oh, sophomore. I'm
The
sorry.
Girl at Iowa.
Okay.
Okay.
Big girl.
Yeah, I'd already lost my train of thought. I'm glad y'all could help on that one. UConn, that is the late game, right?
Yes.
Am I right on
Yes.
that?
You're correct.
UConn taking on
Alabama is first in the country in points per game.
Yeah. Yes.
They
90,
really scored the ball.
90.6.
It was 91, so it must have dropped.
But my
just
guess is they
slightly.
would be in the top 10 in points allowed per game
Yeah, defense. They're not
as
good
well.
defensively.
Because, and it plays hand in hand, too, I think, because you're giving a lot more possessions to your
True.
opponent. you
It
know.
doesn't give points allowed, but their defensive rating is 303rd in the nation.
Whew.
And UConn is 10th.
And there's only 302 teams.
The offensive rating, UConn is number 1 in the country. Alabama is number 3 for offense.
Right.
Defense, UConn 10, Alabama 303rd.
Yeah, they're not.
UConn has been the dominant team in this tournament, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And just put everybody away. At some point in the game, they've had a run, and it just put the other team away. Who is, out of the other three, who has the best chance of beating UConn? Now, obviously, Alabama today.
Yeah,
They're
it's
the only
got to
one
be
plays them.
Purdue.
You think Purdue?
Yeah.
I still think Purdue with Zach Edey probably has the best shot.
If
he goes off for 40, I think they could beat them.
I don't know what they'll be favored by if UConn wins tonight, just moving forward into the next round.
I read or I heard on the radio 5.5. If it's UConn and Purdue, to be 5.5.
5.5.
But I was going to ask you guys to finish this sentence. If UConn does not win the tournament, it'll be the biggest upset in the finals since.
I think if Purdue beats UConn, it's not that big of an upset.
I don't either. I don't.
The only game that ever really come to my mind, and it wasn't even a finals game, is when Duke beat UNLV because they had lost to UNLV by 30.
Yeah.
UNLV came in undefeated, right?
Undefeated,
But
correct.
it was a Final Four game. It was not the championship game.
That's right.
So I really can't do that because I was just thinking about a title game.
Well, people say when UConn beat Duke in '99, that was a big upset.
Yep, it was.
Yeah.
Was that their first title?
That was UConn's first.
That was UConn's first title.
And
So yeah, it probably was. It probably was.
I don't know when the Pomeroy rating started, but Duke's that year was like off the charts. You know, the Ned or Ken Pomeroy.
Was that the Sheldon Williams team?
No, it was Elton Brand, Trajan Langdon.
Okay.
The Alaskan Assassin, Trajan Langdon,
yeah.
William Avery.
It was only their second loss all year.
Battier was on.
Where did I see that The guy you just mentioned from Alaska, Langdon.
Trajan Langdon.
He's
Working. Where's he at? I heard him mention him the other day on something.
Does he work for the NBA or?
Yeah, he is. He was a GM for was it New
So he's
Orleans?
a
But
GM.
I don't know if he's still there.
I think he is. I think that's where I heard it. I think they were talking about him being a general manager of the Pelicans.
Yeah, to me, they're playing more against history because 17 years since we had back-to-back champions. Florida.
What was the gap between Duke and Florida?
Was from 92 to what?
92 to
06,
04.
07,
So
or
about the
05,
same
06,
amount.
something.
About the same amount. Would you be more shocked if UConn wins the tournament or loses?
I'd be a little surprised if they don't win it.
Yeah, based on what they've done so far. I mean, in the way.
But I think Purdue could beat them. I don't think Alabama's going to beat them. I don't
think they'll lose, but I think I'm going to get hammered for this. I think the only team that couldn't beat them State. I don't know why, but I think Alabama could if it just gets into a scoring fest, and both teams might hit double figures, but that favors Alabama if they can just get it into a running game. Now Hurley, I think, is one of the better coaches in college basketball, and I don't know if he'll let it get into that kind of game. He'll probably want to keep it in the 60s. So there'll probably be a compromise, and it'll wind up in the 70s or upper 70s. I still like UConn either way, though. They just seem to be clicking. Alabama has some stretches when they can't score. UConn just don't have many stretches in the game where they are. You don't see that clock ticking up there. They've gone 3 minutes and 40 seconds without a field goal. You don't see that when with UConn. You see it with the other teams, though.
Well, of course, Purdue has been playing with an edge, but don't you think they've sort of silenced their critics by getting to the Final Four after losing in a 1-16
Out of all
game
the
last
things
year?
I'm looking forward to today, though, Mike, is Edey versus Burns.
Yeah, me too. I want to see that one.
That's going to be interesting because who will win that battle? Who will,
Well, if Burns wins that battle, NC State's going to win.
Yeah.
He's a confident guy.
He won every battle against Duke.
He's won every battle in the tournament so far.
And Mike, you said Purdue's won the battle. They've got there.
They've got to the Final Four.
I'm gonna throw this out here, and I guess this is just they've got knocked out the last 3 years by double-digit seeds.
That's right.
You think you're safe? What are you seeing today?
They're facing
another double-digit seed.
That's right.
And so it's almost like if they don't win, well,
we know anybody can win, or they wouldn't be playing, right? I mean, it's not a shoe-in for UConn to come away with the title.
No.
How many do they have right now? 5.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going for their 6th. I'm gonna read a couple comments here real quick. I got 2 messages I want to read. Ned says this: for fun, do these lyrics ring a bell for Brett? Another suburban family mourning, grandmother screaming at the wall. We have to shout above the din of our Rice Krispies. We can't hear anything at all. Mother chants her litany of boredom and frustration, but we all know her suicides are fake.
Ooh.
Sounds like Pink Floyd to me, but I don't.
Sounds like Green Day to me.
Okay.
It does sound like Pink.
It's far out lyrics there for sure.
Floyd
either way. Jason says UConn getting to Arizona this week has been a victory for them. Yeah, they had a little mess in their travel plans. They were to arrive in Arizona on Tuesday night, but didn't get there until 6:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. The plane had mechanical issues, and they didn't leave the airport until 1:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. And if you know Danny Hurley, he's a routine, superstitious, all kind of stuff guy. Mm-hmm. It's probably eating him up.
Yeah, but that won't faze him.
No, nothing. He'll just use it to his advantage in some way. Jason also says, with State getting to the Final Four, it's the 13th consecutive Final Four with a 5 seed or worse.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's just typical March Madness to me. I mean, that's just typical.
Don says that was not American Airlines.
Well, yeah, that's good to know. Let's see. 6:09 p.m. NC State Purdue. 8:49 Alabama and UConn. I honestly thought these games would be flipped and be the other way. I thought since UConn was such a prohibitive favorite to win this thing, that they would probably play the early game.
So I thought,
with all eyes being on NC State and Purdue in that late matchup.
Yeah, it seems like there's more drama in State Purdue.
Yeah.
Of course, State's magical run, Purdue's like Edie, all that.
State's starting 5, not one of them on the team last year.
Yeah, they're on the team, but they're all transfer portals.
But okay, they had a couple of those last year.
They didn't start at NC
Burns
State.
played last year.
I don't mean they're all new this year.
Didn't begin their college careers at NC
all of them
State.
did not
All
begin.
5.
Yeah,
Wow.
all 5. Yeah.
Wow.
Burns was there last year,
and that is just a perfect example of what the portal can do for you.
That's right.
And he came from Winthrop, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Isn't that where
Well,
he
it's
started?
Tennessee first.
Who did?
And
Oh.
Winthrop. But I don't know whether he ever played at Tennessee, but he went there first.
But he did play at Winthrop.
3 years.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying that, this is 2 years at State and 3 at Winthrop, so he must have redshirted or something at Tennessee, but never played, because that would be 6 years.
6 years,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So I don't, but he did go to Tennessee first, and he's from Rock Hill.
Oh, I did not realize he was from Rock Hill.
Speaking of eligibility, on April 1, I sent out a text to David. Flash, breaking news. Ron Young granted a 7th year of eligibility.
Who was?
Well, was it you said? I said Ron Young granted a 7th year of eligibility.
I can't remember what my response
you said,
was.
I hope it's the State.
Yeah, that's what it was. I hope he's going to play for State. Monty says NC State victory depends on how close the offensive calls down low are called.
Well, yeah.
So the offensive fouls in the post.
True, and they hadn't been called.
Burns is more likely to pick one of those up, I think, than
well, I would hope
than Edie.
They officiate Edie the same way they have all year, and I don't even know exactly how that is. But
yeah,
I would hope they wouldn't change anything.
Who do you think gets the better of that matchup? Like I said, that's my favorite. That's what I'm looking most forward to, is seeing those two guys.
I just don't see how Burns gets off his little
I think
soft left-handed off.
The big advantage for Purdue that other teams haven't had is they shouldn't have to double Burns. And Duke didn't double team Burns much, and he killed him.
That was the problem.
That's been everybody in, and I don't know. I just see.
What if Edie picks up 2 fouls in the first 5-10 minutes, trying to stop him? Will they go at him and try to get him in foul trouble?
Oh yeah, they're going to give it
Why
down
wouldn't you?
low to Burns.
Yeah.
Stumped.
And what role does Diarra play in the game? He's
Diarrhea?
I think
you said that. I didn't.
He could play a big role in the game.
And I think they're going to throw.
That's Bobby Hurley.
They're going to throw 15 fouls at him, at Edie. Myself. That's with.
Who else? They
Brooks,
got Middlebrooks.
With Middlebrooks
He's
and
a big
DRA and
Yeah.
and Burns is going to get some.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, those role players for State.
Yeah.
They've got 3
They've
good
stepped up.
big guys.
They do.
They've really stepped up.
And Middlebrooks, I mean, he might not be a great player, but he's a good defender, and he
That's right.
causes problems
He
for
gives
other
them what they
teams.
need.
Yeah.
He gives them what they need.
I just think their
What I'm curious to see,
luck is going to run out.
Edie and
on State.
Yeah.
And Burns, Burns can use his body to create space, and then he gets off that little soft jump shot. I don't know. I don't know. Edie's going to give up a lot. When you bump him, I'm not sure you're going to give up a lot of space. And even when you fall back, he may be able to cause problems with that. Nobody else can. Nobody else has been able to. We'll see. You're talking about another foot.
And Edie won't push Burns around.
When you got to go up there and reach and cut the nets without getting on the ladder.
That's what I'm saying. But you know what? The little scoop shots he shoots go very high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a lot of arc on them when they leave his hands. I don't know how to describe that shot, except it's just something he invented to be able to get his shot off.
Well, he's a pretty good jump shooter too.
He's not bad,
and that can help.
Ned says, "Did you hear the story about Burns having a vending machine business?"
Yeah.
Well, I bet that thing goes broke.
Mm-hmm.
Was that his NIL?
I don't know. Jason says DJ Burns did redshirt at Tennessee. He was ranked 3rd in the state of South Carolina in the class of 2018, just behind Zion Williamson and Ja Morant. They're having pretty good. They're making some dough. I'll put it that way. They're having pretty good careers.
Yeah,
and making some
That guy's been in the NBA 5 years, and he's still playing college basketball.
Well, they said happy 30th.
Yeah,
here on his birthday card, happy 30th. I don't know how old he is. Have they said how old he is?
Well, he's got to be 24, 25. He's had a year at Tennessee, 3 years at Winthrop, 2 years at State. This is his 6th year of being in college.
And in the same class as Morant and Zion.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely got some age on him. Thoughts? I mean, topic.
How would you guys compare this State team to the '83 team? Of course, that was a long time ago, but
yeah. Well, that team won every game by a last-second shot. They were the cardiac.
Yeah.
This team's pretty much had all its games in hand with under a minute or two to go. I mean, they've been in control. They've had to have, it makes you wonder how will they play if they get down to it's 70-70 with 30 seconds to go. Will they be ready for something like that?
Truthfully, I guess I keep looking. The closest game they've had was the underdog role with Oakland. That's as close. When they're the underdog, they've been everybody else that they've.
That didn't go to overtime.
Not favored.
Did it go to overtime?
Did it?
I know it was like a 1 or 2 point game, but
I thought it did.
I think it did.
Okay.
I think it did. Yeah. And that's and that was the only one.
I must be thinking it did because
that's the only game where they were more of an underdog than Oakland was more of an underdog than them.
Yeah,
that's right.
It was close.
They played. Yeah, it looks like it's easier to play in this tournament when you are the underdog.
Yeah, it is.
It's easier to play. There's not as much pressure. So, that's the game they struggled in.
Exactly,
but when they were the underdog, they haven't really struggled.
I think we saw that.
They keep finding ways.
Sunday with Duke and State.
Here, but they keep
Duke had all the pressure in the world.
Yeah.
They couldn't handle it.
They played awful.
Could not handle it.
Right.
I think Duke, had they been playing Marquette, they would have played a much better game than they did against State.
Yep.
Well, it's because of what happened to them against State in the ACC tournament. Once they got down in the Elite Eight, they panicked. Man.
Yep. Well,
same State team. So.
We need to take our final time out, but before we do, I want to throw this out there and get you guys comments on this. And then we got to take a time out. When's the last time you saw a 30-0 run?
That's unbelievable.
I mean,
yeah, I really look bad on that. I picked Illinois. Last week you asked the question, if it's not Connecticut, who else would you pick?
You said
and
Illinois.
I picked Illinois.
Well, if you take away the 30-0 run,
and I came in I didn't get to see the first half, and I came in and I thought, wow, they're right there. But so much that tells you how much I know. Nothing.
That was an unbelievable. I mean, you just at some point you got to fall into a point or a free throw or a layup or something. But 30-0, I mean, they're tied, and they scored 30 in a row.
And one more question.
Never seen anything like that.
If they do win back-to-back and they blow out both teams, how would you compare this UConn team to the greatest college teams you've seen play?
Simple for me. College teams will never be as great as they used to be unless we start changing the rules and get 5 seniors starting. Right. I mean, it's just not happening because some of those best teams you're talking about had the best players playing in their final year, and now they don't play 4 years. So
in some ways
I don't think they compare.
That's a good point.
And in some ways now with the transfer portal, you do have veteran senior teams, but they're not the same. Because what you're talking about is senior teams that's been together.
Played together for 4 years.
And that's different. That's
knows every step you're going to take and everything you're, and it just won't be. I mean,
so we're never going to have a 91-92 Duke type team again.
Well, I mean, you could say that about 8 or 10 teams probably. That
76 Indiana. I mean, you just.
I don't think you ever see a team go to 4 straight Final Fours.
What about those Florida teams that won back to back?
Oh yeah,
weren't they all seniors? their second year of winning it?
And we're never going to see that
and
again.
they all were at Florida for
with
4
today's
years?
rules, we're never going to see that again. I don't think.
Yeah.
Never see teams that just know each other inside and out, on and off the court. I think that has a lot to do with it,
But
too.
obviously, Baylor proved it and State's proven it. You can take disparate parts and put them together that didn't play together before and win.
Oh, yeah.
I mean
that's...
Yeah, my only problem with State is I still think they were lucky to even be in the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Jason says it right here. If it wasn't for Virginia missing the second free throw in the ACC tournament,
this
the
wouldn't
game,
be happening.
the
And
game
State had to hit
wouldn't
a
be on
half-court
this
shot?
run.
And then this is after the fact, but then you could still foul him.
You could.
And they didn't
Yeah.
foul him.
Yep.
You know, even after he missed the shot, they could have fouled O'Connell. Game's over.
Yeah.
Because you need a 3 to tie.
And think about Keith.
And I don't
Probably
even know if
looking
you
for
still
an
blame
outside.
Tony Bennett
And
for
I think-
everything.
And I think they had a foul to
Yeah.
give, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, so they wouldn't even been going to the line, you know. So
He left his heart in Charlottesville. Tony Bennett, that is.
Yep.
All right, before we go to our final, we got Brett's lyric right?
Yep.
And it was the police.
Yep.
Well, here's
Lessons
mine.
in a bottle.
We'll close out the lyrics for the day with "Love's like a road that you travel on. When there's one day here and the next day gone." Back in a moment.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Sooner or later, everyone wants to make their home dreams a reality. I'm sure you've seen the television shows and flip through magazines and you know what you want. Or then again, maybe you're not sure. You know that you want something different and something better. Get started today by contacting the building professionals at Key Builders in Lincoln. Visit the website at keybuildersnc.com and check out their many floor plans. There's one there for you and your family. Key Builders, locally owned and operated at 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
Lake Electric Company was founded in 1984. They are licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Virginia. Safety and quality is first in everything they do. For all your electrical needs, serving Lincoln County, Catawba County, Burke County, Mecklenburg County, and all the surrounding counties. When it has to be done right, call Lake Electric. Let them take care of your family. Lake Electric Company, 4362 Providence Mill Road, Maiden. Call 704-483-4000. Online at lakeelectric.com.
Stop by Lowe's Home Improvement in Lincolnton for their great deals on items you use around the house. Need to update around the kitchen? Then shop a great selection of appliances and some up to 30% off retail prices. Buy Craftsman's 20-volt max battery and get your choice of matching Craftsman cordless tool free. Update your workshop area with a wide selection of shop tools, only $99 each. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Shop Lowe's in Lincolnton for the things you want to buy today.
Century Drug in Boger City is the first pharmacy in the area to offer peace of mind for you, your caregivers, and for your family with a convenient poly pouch, strip pouch system, just like the one you've seen on TV. No more sorting through and keeping up with your multiple bottles of medication. No more filling daily reminder boxes. No more calling in meds and worrying about refills. You'll receive all your medications once a month in a box that dispenses a convenient, easy-to-open strip pouch that is perfectly labeled for breakfast, lunch, bedtime, etc. Century will be the link between you and your doctor to assure you that your medication profile is up to date and refillable. In other words, Century Drug will do all the work. You just take your medications and be healthy and happy. Call or come by for a visit today. 704-735-2551. Century Drug, East Main Street in Lincolnton.
Welcome back. Glad to have you with us. Head to the fourth quarter here. We do have a guess from Butch Parker.
Ooh.
He has got the song correct. He has got the first name correct, but he came up with the wrong last name.
Give me the lyrics.
Laney says, give me the lyrics again. Love's like a road that you travel on, when there's one day here and the next day gone. One of my favorite songs, and I think it...
Can you give me a decade? 70s.
Brett, late 70s, early 80s, would you say?
I think you've got the first word wrong.
Loves? L-O-V-E'(s), like love is.
Yeah, I'm seeing life's like a road that you travel on.
Well, I'm going by, this is the same lyric, A to Z lyrics that I use every single.
Could be wrong, though.
It could. They're put on here by humans.
I've looked at two different options. I've looked at the lyrics on Spotify. Or maybe it's a different song with extremely similar words.
Yeah. Well, what you said would make sense,
It would
though.
make sense, yeah.
How does he know? He don't even know what the song is.
Well, no.
Mike said it would make sense.
No, life's like a road. Love, that makes sense.
Well, love is also like a road.
I'm talking about the analogy. Life is like
Mostly
a road.
uphill. Just kidding, for anybody that's listening out there.
Did a country group redo the song about 15 years
they
ago
did.
or so?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
And it's even worse than the original.
Worse than the original. You don't like that song?
It's all right.
I like it.
It's all right.
I like it. Let's see. Did you hear the story about Burns having a venue? Oh, when I first saw this from Ned, I thought it was something different. I thought we was talking about Burns High School for a minute. And Ned says, I'm being honest, I do not know your song. Yep. The guy was a one-hit wonder as a solo artist. I will say that. I'm pretty sure he was just a one-hit wonder, but he played in some other bands. I can't give you those right off the top of my head. His last name is a very popular name in Lincolnton. That helps you any, don't it, Brett?
Very popular name in Lincoln.
Yep, because of a family business.
Ooh.
Not that he's any kin to those folks, but that should help you a little bit. And I use A to Z lyrics, and A to Z lyrics say it's love's, and Brett said it might be life's. Like a road. I could see it being either. I need to listen to the song just to hear which one is correct. Life's like a road that you travel on, when there's one day here and the next day gone. Sometimes you bend, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn your back to the wind. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Lyrics right there. Back to the sports world.
1991 is when the song.
Oh, wow.
91.
But still all over classic rock. That's the only place I hear it. Any classic rock.
Okay.
Any classic rock channel will play this song probably today. if you wanna tune in and listen to it. You guys know it's only what? How many? Less than 3 weeks to the NFL draft. Things getting situated. Buffalo looking for a wide receiver. Did that shock anybody?
Yeah.
Did it?
I was surprised. I mean, I know there's been talk of him being
Buffalo trades away,
not being
Stephon
happy
Diggs
in Buffalo, but
yeah. Nothing surprises me anymore, really. I mean, I can't remember the last time I was surprised by a trade in the NFL. That's a good question. I just like to think of when, what did surprise me is they didn't keep him. They didn't keep they made him a free agent after this season. Wonder why they would do that. Why if you're Texas, just in case they don't want him around, they don't have to deal with paying him another year? I mean, that just kind of surprised me that he would be. They restructured the contract where he's a free agent at the end of 1 year. Yeah, after 1 year. We always hear about these teams that going all in. Everybody's going all in. Well, Houston appears to be going all in. You know,
and we really thought they were just
best question of the
rebuild.
week: who's the best NFL team in Texas? Houston. It could be Houston at this point. Had a better postseason than the Cowboys, and have added some very key components to their roster for this upcoming year. Ned said the lyrics I sent him were from the song Synchronicity 2. Album was Synchronicity. Band was Police, 1983. I thought Brett got that earlier, or somebody.
No,
never got the Police. Okay, that's right.
I'm not that big of a Police fan.
My guess was Pink Floyd just because of the far out lyrics there, but that will always be my guess whenever I hear far out lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
It's usually going to be Pink Floyd, but not this time. Not this time. Is it set at this point? And I know we might end up here in the last few minutes still back on the NCAA tournament, which we've still got 3 games left. National champs still got to win 2 more games. But I was just going to say, are we set now? Do we think we know who the Bears are taking on with the first pick of the draft after the pro day this past week? Caleb Williams is going to be a Chicago Bear, and we pretty much know that now, right?
Yeah.
What we don't know is what's going to happen after that, and it's going to be a free-for-all. Maybe the best quarterback class, we never know for 5 years, but the best quarterback class maybe since Marino and who else? Elway, was he in that one?
Todd Blackledge.
Well, I was trying to name the good ones.
Oh.
What kind of NFL career did Todd Blackledge? I love Todd Blackledge. He's really good on TV.
He's a good analyst.
But he was not a good professional quarterback.
No.
Neither was the guy that went to the guy in that class that went to New England. What was his name? Tony Easton.
Tony Easton.
He never became a really good pro either. I think he was in that same class. But that's one of the quarterback classes. The main ones were Marino, Elway, and there was one more.
There's one more.
That slips my mind right now. But that was one for the ages. Now, we won't know, like I said, till 3 to 5 years into this thing. Do you guys like the way that the NFL is structured where if you have a really good quarterback and he's in his first 4 or 5 years, you can build a team around him because you're not got to pay him? It's just weird, isn't it? I mean, then the guy may.
Jim Kelly was the other one.
Jim Kelly. Exactly.
Jim Kelly.
You know, I mean, you can build this team right now around the kid at Houston that had the phenomenal year. Help me with his name. It's just
Stroud.
C.J. Stroud. I thought he looked like the best rookie quarterback.
Oh, wow.
Ever? I mean, you know, Marino lit it up when he was a rookie, but just to think of some of the numbers he put up and the wins he got, playoff wins, I thought he had a phenomenal season. Seemed to have his head on right as well. A very mature, 22-year-old. I don't know how old he is, 23 maybe. But I thought he was had a phenomenal season. Yes, Butch, it was Jim Kelly. Thank you for guessing that. Another Western Pennsylvania quarterback in Jim Kelly, as was Marino. Jason says, what is Buffalo doing? They're already lost their number 2 receiver, Gabe Davis, now trading Diggs. Well, it's obvious that Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs no longer got along. I mean, it's just basically the reason that he's traded is it's a divorce between those two. I mean, they did not like each other anymore. And I'm sure that pressure, you know, Diggs all the time would just weigh on you. And Josh Allen probably said, we needed to go a different route. Now, Now trading Diggs. Before Diggs got to Buffalo, Josh Allen was struggling at quarterback. Diggs gets there, and Allen is a Pro Bowler and in MVP contention. But Diggs is just a headache, no matter, and he will eventually be one in Houston.
A lot of baggage, collateral damage with him.
Good player, great player,
And
you have to put up
in the
with it.
tradition of all the other divas.
I was trying to find the draft I was looking for, but you went back to that 83 draft with those guys. Well, what about this one from 4 years ago?
4 years ago.
Joe Burrow.
That's good.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Very good.
Justin Herbert.
Very good.
Jordan Love.
Yep.
And Jalen Hurts.
You know what? Is that the order they were taking?
Yeah.
Well, those last two have had more success in the playoffs than the first three, right?
Yeah. Playoff success.
Well, Jordan Love just really is 1-1, right?
Yeah.
Because did they play a game before they played Dallas?
No, it was first round.
Okay, that was first round. So he's really just 1-1.
I still think Burrow's the best out of those five, but he has had injury problems.
Yeah. Well, Sam
again. Tua's had injury
problems.
Justin Herbert just can't get
a
good team around him.
Well, he hadn't had any coaching.
Or the right coach.
I think he's probably got the right coach now, and he won't be asked to do as much.
And then Jordan Love and
Jalen
Hurts went to the best situations.
Yep.
Because they went later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a pretty good class.
And Jordan Love got to sit, 2 years behind Rodgers?
Go through them again. Joe Burrow, 1 Super Bowl appearance. Who's next?
Tua,
nothing yet as far as Super Bowl goes.
Justin Herbert,
nope.
Jordan Love.
This could be his year to go to the Super Bowl coming up. I don't know. I mean, but
and Jalen Hurts.
And Jalen Hurts has won a Super Bowl, right? No, he didn't.
No, he didn't win it.
He didn't win
He made it.
He lost the Super Bowl.
Year before.
Yep, just like Burrow. Yep. And you guys remember how close, the Cincinnati Bengals with that team were to beating Kansas City, I think it was, and getting there again. I don't know who did they beat to get to the Super Bowl. It wasn't the Chiefs that they beat, was it? In the AFC Championship game when they went to the Super Bowl. Barely lost to the Rams because of Aaron Donald making a couple plays at the end of the game in that Super Bowl. But why does Cincinnati let Joe Mixon walk?
Yeah.
Right.
That surprised me. I mean, he's
a productive back.
He's one of the better backs when it comes to, the total package of running and receiving.
Catch the ball.
Yeah. And now look where he's at. He's in Houston with this superpower team that looks like what they're trying to build. The question.
It's a song by the Gatlin brothers, Going Back to Houston.
Going back to Houston.
Yeah, they did beat the Chiefs.
They beat
in
the Chiefs.
AFC Championship that year.
Okay. I mean, Cincinnati got I think when he's healthy, they are a playoff team. But have they got a backup plan to replace Mixon? Wasn't it one of the?
Well, I would say
P. Ryan. Is that who's?
I would say that's the easiest position to replace somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It seems to be. And Mixon's getting a little age on him. I do understand that, a little wear and tear. I don't know how old he is, but he just always impressed me as, the do everything kind of running back that you want on a team. He can catch. He's hard to bring down. Very strong, good size, and can usually take the pounding of a 17-game season. But like you said, everybody just seems to plug in a running back, and they seem to do pretty well. I guess the big key is for the Bengals is we still haven't heard anything. Chase Young's going to be there. We still haven't heard anything on the Clemson receiver.
Jamar Chase, not Chase Young. He's a defensive
player. Yep.
T. Higgins
out of Clemson. It's a free agent, right? But they can. Or is it too late?
I think it's too late to franchise tag him. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yep. It's I guess it's necessary to have one big time receiver, but it's always a luxury if you have one on the other side as well. Jason said, yes, Cincinnati defeated Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl. That seems like years ago. You know what I mean? At this time, I'm sure it does to Bengal fans. wanting to see them get back there. Kansas City's going to be the team to beat in the AFC for quite some time.
Will any team ever develop a foil for Patrick Mahomes? I mean, that one quarterback or player that can keep them from continuing their run. I thought it was going to be.
I don't think so, because
be, Josh Allen.
He can make adjustments, personal adjustments, and do things you're not expecting. Right. So I don't know what you can do. You can't send everybody.
Well, I think the interesting thing will be when Travis Kelce retires. If Mahomes is still there when Travis Kelce retires, and if and when Andy Reid retires.
Yeah.
Will Mahomes be able to do it without those two guys?
That's a good question.
It is.
I think as long as he has those two, they're going to be the favorite in the AFC.
Would you take the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl next year or the field?
The field.
I would always take the field.
Yeah.
In the NFL, because number one, you can't say a guy will be healthy.
Yeah.
100% of the year. You can never predict injuries. Go back to basketball, unless you guys got something to add on football. Anything in the works, NFL, whatever. But I thought we'd go back to basketball and just go around and say who will beat who on Monday night. Go ahead, Mike. Let you lead off.
As much as I like NC State's story and the comparisons to Valvano and 83 and all that, I'm going UConn over Purdue to cut down the nets. I know that's conventional.
That's the logical pick, though.
Yeah,
that's
the logical pick.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give mine because that's the first bracket I filled out. I picked UConn to beat Purdue, so no reason not to stick with that.
Are you in the run for money?
Yeah.
Okay.
With that one, yeah. My other one, I picked Houston, and I still think Houston, had their point guard not got hurt against Duke, I think they would be in the Final Four right now. But I don't think they were as good as UConn or Purdue, even fully healthy.
You're taking away from the Wolfpack fans saying that.
Well, I'm also saying Houston would have beat Duke if he hadn't got hurt.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they were the third best team in the country, maybe even the second best team.
Yeah.
They didn't really have a big. Most of their inside guys were 6'7", 6'8", but they had great guards. You're right.
And play great defense.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because he did get hurt and Duke beat him. So it happens.
And Duke didn't have Caleb Foster for the ACC tournament or the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, about everybody.
That's surprising.
About everybody is missing somebody by now.
Yeah, look at UConn women.
Yeah, missing 5 players.
Yeah, and made it to the Final Four. Jason said Higgins did get franchise tagged.
Oh, okay.
Was asked to be traded after. And I don't understand that either. I don't know why you'd want. I know he's not the number one guy, and he might go somewhere and be the number one receiver. But franchise tag's good money, because you're up there with Chase and with Justin
Jefferson.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, I would think
tag me all day.
You would want to play with Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Because he gets the double coverage.
Yep. It opens you up.
And you've got Joe Burrow to throw it to you. I mean, I don't see why you'd want to leave that.
There'll probably be a trade made before the draft at some point to get him out of there. And there'll be a lot of teams, just, highest bidder, who wants to give up the most to get a receiver that has proven to be a pretty good NFL receiver. So, Brett, you went with you stayed with UConn to beat Purdue like Mike. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Lenny?
I'm boring like them. I'm going the same route.
Purdue, so boring.
Connecticut. But I'd like to see Purdue win it. But I
would too.
But I'm picking
I
Connecticut.
think they are a lot of people sentimental. You know, Gene Cady's been at some of the games, right?
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
This could be.
I've seen a lot of people against him because of the cause that Zach Edey gets.
Because he shoots more free throws.
But I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for him to win the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I'll look at it this way: it's not Zach Edey's fault if he gets calls. I've never even noticed that he gets.
But another guy I really like in the tournament is Nate Oates at Alabama.
He's-
I don't know. I just like him. I like his energy and personality. And
You like the way I like the way they play.
And
yeah,
Sears.
yeah. Oh yeah, Sears is awesome.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
Okay, who was the last great big man from Purdue to play in the Final Four?
Joe Barry Carroll.
Bingo. Thought I might stump
Joe
somebody.
Barry Carroll.
I got a little trivia too. This,
All right.
Who is this coach? He took 2 different teams to the Final Four for the first time. Those schools for the first time.
He was the first one to take 2 different schools.
Yeah.
To their first Final Four.
To their first Final Four. And I do not think either one of these teams has been back.
Wow.
Jim Larinaga.
Nope.
Not
It's
Jim
one.
Larinaga.
He had one. No, you're right. 2.
George Mason
2
in
names
Miami.
In Miami. This guy, all right, this was,
Had to be Miami's
that's
first
it.
one,
This
too.
was the first.
I would think so.
I know it was George Mason's
You're
first
correct. You're correct on that. That's not the one I had.
Wow.
So
Somebody else.
Larinaga must have matched him.
He just wasn't the first guy to do it.
Give me a minute. here.
While you guys are thinking about the answer to that question, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you real quick that NC State will cut down the nets after their win over Alabama on Monday. and my lyrics one more time for those who did not get them. Love or life, one or the other. Love's like a road that you can travel on. When there's one day here, next day gone. From the great Tom Cochran, Life is a Highway.
Life
I love that
is a
song.
highway.
Life is a Highway.
I'm going to say Lute Olson.
What? Nope.
No.
Not on Lute
This
Olson.
guy is still alive, but he is no longer coaching. He's 86 years old. I
Another one
to see. I didn't know he
came to
still
mind
alive.
was Calipari, but it wasn't Memphis's first Final Four, was it?
Calipari took 3, but
Throw it out there before we go off. We ain't got about 30 seconds. Name it.
Hugh Durham.
Hugh Durham.
Hugh Durham.
Georgia.
Florida State.
Florida State.
72.
Florida
Georgia,
State and Georgia.
83.
Oh, I'd have sat here all day and not.
Well, that's when I run
never
across
came
that,
up
I
with
thought,
Hugh Durham.
that's-
Artist Gilmore.
Yeah.
72 against UCLA, right? That's right.
Yeah, that goes
Hugh
that goes
Durham.
way back.
That's a good one.
It is. It is. And Brett came up
But
with
you're
another.
correct, too.
Yeah.
Because that's, and I guess when I looked, he was the first, but Larinaga has done that.
Yeah.
For Mike,
And
Lenny,
George Mason.
Brett, I'm David Keever. We'll see you next week on Sports Talk. Thanks for tuning in.